Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Ethics and Social Justice. Today, we're going to do something a little different when we talk about sports development programs. We're going to talk about how intercollegiate athletics has a role in sports development. Okay, how sports role can help development in higher education. Right, higher ed has a long history in involvement with development programs. When I talk about development programs, what I'm talking about is bringing in money. The advancement office, the development office at your university. All right, so these advancement offices look for donations from donors. All right, and intercollegiate athletics usually works as a way to bring people in to the advancement office so they can donate. All right, so um, sports has been an integral part in the university of fundraising, right? So sports is integral to the fundraising efforts of the university overall. Intercollegiate athletes, um, intercollegiate athletics. If you think about it, private donations just from private donations themselves. FBS schools, 18% of the athletic department revenue comes from private donations. All right, 18% comes from people, right? Just people donating their money. And if you think about that, where you say Ohio State and their athletic department brought in $205 million, 18%, we're talking 36, $38 million just from private donations. That's a lot of money coming into your university just from people giving. That's not tuition. That's not sponsors. That's just people opening up their wallets, their pocketbooks, and giving money to the university. And the same thing at non-FSB schools or FCB schools. 27% of the athletic department's revenue comes from private donations. That's a lot, right? So you need to think about this as a sports executive, how you can tap into this stream of money for your athletic department or for your university or whatever it is that you're promoting. All right? So you need to develop and cultivate the donors through sport, right? You need to look at how the role of sports programs can play in philanthropic development at your university. All right, that makes sense. And then explore the value athletic programs add to the institutional development effort overall. Right, so how sports can be part of this development, how sports can leverage this development to benefit the university overall. Okay, you want to integrate and maximize the athletics and academic fundraising for your university. It makes perfect sense, and using sports as the initial door, is very important that you do it the right way. Okay? One thing you need to think about when you first start is there's a difference between commercial and adoptive philanthropy. All right, commercial um, and adoptive are two distinct categories because you need to know that donations are not always for altruistic or philanthropic purposes. All right, not everybody has great intentions. Um, Much of the charitable behavior is self-serving. All right, people want to give; they want to get something back. All right, so you need to think about that right from the get. And this is where we get into commercial philanthropy. All right, this is the category. This occurs when a donor is motivated to make a gift in exchange for some benefit that has some commercial value. All right, they're not doing it for nothing. All right, they're going to give a gift, but they want something of equal value back. They're not just going to give up the money and walk away. They want something back. All right, their primary motivation is the benefit received in exchange for the big gift. They're motivated by what they're going to get in exchange. I'm going to give you money. I want something back. That's their motivation. And the amount they're willing to give closely mirrors the financial value of those benefits, right? They're going to give $1 million if they feel they're going to give $1 million, get something worth $1 million back. They're going to give $10,000 if that's what they feel they're going to get back. They're going to give $20,000 if that's what they feel they're going to get back. All right. And what they're going to get back can either be a tangible good or non-tangible good, right? Either could be something, all right, we're going to get $10,000, but I'm going to get season tickets. Okay, that's tangible. Or it could just be, I'm going to get my name on something. Okay. All right, they're doing something to get back, giving money to get something back. Adoptive philanthropy, however, and you need to think about this because it's probably going to be a question on the fourth quiz. What's the difference? Discuss in detail the difference between commercial and adoptive philanthropy. Adoptive philanthropy, however, occurs when donors make gifts with the primary purpose of benefiting the organization. All right, there's no motivation to get anything back in return. They just want to give the gift as out of the kindness of their heart. They're not looking for anything back. It's a benefit the organization. They're not. It's not for commercial reasons. They're doing it with the best interest of the organization at heart. All right. The ceiling of the benefit that the donor gives is what they perceive the capacity is that they have to give. Right. I got $10,000. I want to give a university. That's what I'm going to give them. Right. There's no value back for it. Right. What they want to give is what they perceive they can give the university. As opposed to the commercial benefit of the donation where you know that there's an economic value back that you're going to look for. Commercial and adoptive, when we talk about this, commercially motivated gifts, however, this is the interesting thing. Commercially motivated gifts, at the beginning, typically most of the time, you're going to get somebody to donate to your university for commercial purposes, right? Commercially motivated purposes. So the interesting thing, though, is that commercially motivated gifts, those initial gifts, can, in turn, right, may open the door for the organization to begin developing a relationship that evolves into larger gifts motivated by more adoptive philanthropy. All right. So, even though it starts off as this kind of commercial relationship between the university and the donor, or between the athletic department and the donor, where that donor is going to get something back, well, over time, you're building a relationship with this person. And that relationship can be cultivated, and now it can be moved from commercial to adoptive, right? Where now the person is just giving a donation to the university or athletic department, not looking for anything in return. Commercial philanthropy opens the door, right? You usually open the door through commercial philanthropy, and then it changes over to adoptive. All right, so let's think about this, though. Let's think. We understand the difference in commercial and philanthropy and adoptive philanthropy. But if people are giving to the athletic department, does that have any effect on the whole school or the whole academic programs of the school? So, proponents of giving to athletics argue that fundraising for athletics enhances fundraising for all academic programs. Okay, so it's a good thing that people are giving to athletic programs because that money comes in and that helps everybody. Critics, however, say, well, no, not so fast. Right? Athletic fundraising crowds out support for other academic programs. Right? If the donor is going to give to the athletic department, they may not give to the College of Professional Studies, or they may not give to the Tobin College of Business. All right, that money, people only have so much money to give. If they're giving here, they're not going to give there. If they give to the athletic department, they're going to hang on to their money. They're not going to, let me write a check to Rob Romano in the College of Professional Studies. That's not going to happen. Okay, so those are the two arguments, right? One argument is that the proponent's argument says, listen, the money's coming in, it benefits the school overall, and now that enhances the academic programs. Okay, the critics say no. The money coming into athletics crowds out any support for academic programs. All right. So how do you find out the answers to this? And this is what, these sports development programs focus on. They do studies on this. And, you can do studies on this also if you choose to. Studies have found a lot of interesting things. All right. Alum and non-alum are not differently affected by the on-field performances of sports teams with respect to giving decisions, right? Alum and non-alum act the same. If the team is winning, alum and non-alum probably give more. If the team is not winning, they probably give less. All right, so the difference between alum and non-alum, there's no differences in how much they donate or the percentage of which they donate, depending on how well the sports team does. All right, they pretty much go, so if the team's winning, they're up here. If the team's losing, they're down here. All right. Patterns favor athletic programs over academics. All right. So most of the time, people coming in, they're going to favor giving to the athletic programs first over academics. And this, however, does not translate. For the most part, this is the way it is, right? Donors are going to come in, they're going to get the athletic programs over academic programs, but not at elite institutions, right? Not at the Ivies in the schools in the big the Ohio States, the Wisconsins, not at the elite institutions. In elite institutions, it's going to be pretty equal. Right? The pattern is not going to show any favoritism towards athletic programs over academics. At the elite institutions, it's going to come into both. At the non-elites, more is going to come into the athletics at first. Right? More likely, the money is going to come in through athletics. Elite institutions, not so much. It comes in pretty evenly. All right. Success on the field does not influence giving to academic programs. Right? Success on the field does not influence the academic program. So if you're winning on the field, it doesn't make a difference to the academic programs. But it does influence the giving to sports programs. I should say sports programs there are non-academic programs. All right, so success on the field does not influence the giving to academic programs, but success on the field does influence how you give to the athletic programs. All right. On field success increases donors base for both, however, but the donor base is going to go initially to the athletic programs and then transition over to the academic programs. Studies have also found that football schools, it is the biggest influencer of sports donations. Right, if the football team is doing well, it's going to bring in a lot of money, even if the basketball team is doing well. All right, so if the football team is doing well, a lot of money will come in. If the football team is doing poorly and the basketball team is doing well, it doesn't matter. Football schools rule. All right, so the money coming in, if the football team is doing well, it's going to support all the athletic programs. If football is not doing well and they have a basketball program that's doing well, basketball is not going to really have much influence. In non-football schools, however, basketball is the biggest influencer. All right, if the basketball team is doing well, that's going to help the athletics department. So here at St. John's, where we don't have a football team, we have a basketball team. If the Red Storm is doing well, it's going to benefit the athletic program, without question. It's the biggest influencer out there. All right. Both alum and non-alum prefer supporting athletic programs first, and they do so at the expense of supporting academic programs. That's what studies have found. So when you initially contact people, both alum or non-alum, they're going to go to the athletic programs first to help support, not so much on the academic side, which is a little disheartening coming from an academic. So the conclusions: intercollegiate athletics socializes both alum and non-alum to the university. This is a great thing, right? So you can use sports to open the door, to bring in both alum and non-alum into the university. And this creates this strong emotional connection, all right, which is important, right? You bring people in through sports, both alum and non-alum. It'll create this emotional connection, and this initial support of athletics which is often commercially motivated, can then transition from commercial to adoptive. All right, so 75% of the donations initially come in through sport. Great. But over time, you can take this commercially motivated sports donation for both alumni and non-alumni and transition it, right? Take it from commercial to adoptive, take it from athletics to academic programs. See how that works? Academics may directly or indirectly benefit from leveraging the emotional connection to athletics. All right, so it may not initially benefit, but over time, if the advancement department works it the right way and cultivates it and builds those relationships, it may over time benefit the university academic programs as well. All right. You as a sports executive, you need to think about this, right? You need to cultivate those relationships. Don't make the athletic department and the academics department compete with one another for those dollars, for those donations. Don't pit them against one another. No, use sports as a door opener for alum and non-alum, whatever reasons they have to donate, and then cultivate that relationship into an adoptive philanthropical donation, and that's going to benefit both the athletic department and the university um, on a whole. Right? You need to integrate these larger fundraising efforts. Okay, I hope that made sense. It's an interesting place if you want to get into advancement. I know one of the graduate students at St. John's in my last class works for the advancement department at Columbia University. So in the athletic department, so it's a great way to get into sports. You're out there, you're meeting people, you're mingling, you're cultivating relationships. So it's an interesting area to get into in sport. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always available, and I'll see you at the next Zoom class. Take care.